Stay tuned and let's take a look at this Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 Cosmo Build-A-Figure Wave Nebula. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember now you can hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we continue looking at the Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 Cosmo Build-A-Figure Wave. As in front of me we have Nebula, who is also in the matching Guardian uniform. So I like the look of this. She also comes with some interchangeable pieces which make her a little bit more interesting than some of the others. But there we have the digital render on the front as well as the Guardians logo down here. The Guardians crest up top, promo image on the side. On the back we get another promo image with those accessories and then a Build-A-Figure leg for the Cosmo Build-A-Figure. There we have the Cosmo Build-A-Figure in its entirety. That's what you need to do to build it. And then here we have all the figures in the wave you need to complete the Cosmo Build-A-Figure. Today we're reviewing Nebula. So let's waste no time and get her open. So here we have Nebula out of the packaging with those accessories and of course a Build-A-Figure leg for Cosmo. So you know what to do, subscribe to the channel and come back, as once we have all the pieces we will build Cosmo. Not today. Today we're focusing on Nebula. Now we have had an opportunity to add Nebula to our collection a couple of times, so we will do some comparisons, especially with the head sculpt. But in regards to the weapons, she gets a big blaster and then a pistol, which are both a reuse. I have no doubts we've seen these before in Marvel Legends. But what I do like is that she gets an interchangeable blade for her hand, which I'm assuming we'll see in the movie. So let's zoom in, check her out. In the movies, Nebula is played by Catherine Gillan, but she's hidden behind all that blue makeup, so it's really hard to see the likeness here on the figure. But I still overall like the sculpt and the blues and the purples and even the mechanical parts as well that are sculpted in to the side of the head there, as you can see. The eyes have got the digital face print in text, so they've got a little bit more life to them. I'm not too sure if that's too much detail, as usually her eyes in the film are like pitch black. But as you can see, overall very nice head sculpt. She's even got some mechanical parts on the mohawk as well on the top of her head. And it is probably the best Nebula head sculpt we've got, especially when you compare it to the other versions we've got. So there we have it compared to the Volume 2 version, which that head seems a little bit too small, and as you can see doesn't have as much life as this head sculpt does. And the other head sculpt we got for Nebula was in the Quantum Soups 2-pack as just a pack-in, where it has like the bronze sort of faceplate, and again the eyes were just not as good as this one is. Like the eyes seemed a little bit too obvious, or maybe that's just me. Either way, it's not spot on. I prefer this head sculpt. Nebula also has the matching Guardian uniform on in the vibrant blues, the red highlights, and then you get the gold emblem there on the chest as well. The bow is a separate black piece to match the gloves and of course the boots as well. And yeah, she's going to fit in beautiful with the rest of the fellas that we've already got open. What I like about the females though, they are on double jointed pinless bodies, which is great. Not even the guys had double jointed pinless bodies. So there we get nice deep cut there on that arm. And then even though this robot arm is a unique arm, you still get a nice double joint on it as well. So plenty of range for Nebula. Bicep swivel, the shoulders will go all the way around, and then all the articulation for the top part is in this diaphragm joint, so you guess where you get your swivel, and then you also get a little bit of forward and a little bit of back as well. The head is on a disc and hinge. As I said, the belt's a separate piece, not hiding any articulation. The legs, she will go about that far, that much, and then as you can see, double jointed pinless knees. Beautiful, and the legs will go out about that far, that much. But for me, it's all about the accuracy to the costume in the movie. Again, we've not seen the movie, but we have seen the trailer and promo images, and I think it looks spot on. The team are going to look great on the shelf together. That's the main thing. I like all the sculpted detail as well on this robot arm. Very nice, and again it gives her that little unique element compared to the rest of the Guardians, as she's got that exposed metal arm. But yeah, really liking Nebula here. In regards to accessories, Nebula comes with a pistol that we got with the last Nebula, but this time it doesn't have as much paint detail. The previous one had a bit more gold and silver on it. This one just seems to be straight up grey plastic. She's got one trigger finger hand on her metal arm, the other hand is just sort of like an open sort of pose. That is maybe so you can hold this gun gun. And again, this gun is just molded in the same flat grey plastic, no sculpted detail on there at all. I'm absolutely sure this is reused from somewhere else, but I can't remember where else. Maybe it was with the last Nebula, but even still, she can hold it much better now. She's got the double jointed elbows if you want it in a neutral look. But her most interesting accessory for me is this blade, this lightsabery type sword, which is literally in replacement of a hand, and it just makes her a lot more interesting to look at. Now, the sword itself is like this orange with some sculpted detail, and then it's same metallic to sort of match the arm, so it's like an extension of the arm. And as I said, the first time we've got this in figure form, so it just makes her a little bit different from the previous Nebulas, a little bit more interesting to look at. And then because she has some great double jointed elbows, you can get her into some nice sort of poses with it as well. So yeah, I like this. And here we have our MCU Marvel Legend Nebula comparison, and what I appreciate here is each version of Nebula is in a drastically different look, so they all sort of are worthy of their spot in the collection, if that makes sense. You can sort of place them around and there's not going to be too much clashing of the same figure on the shelf. So we've got the volume 2, the volume 3, and then the sort of endgame version as well. And for me, my mind's eye of Nebula will probably always be more this volume 1 look, but undoubtedly the volume 3 figure today is the best version of Nebula we had. But I'm going to try the new head on the old body, and it sort of works. Now, proportionally, as I said, the previous head was way too small, and putting the old head on that body proves it. But this is definitely the best looking head sculpt we've got for Nebula. And as I said, this is more my mind's eye. So the head doesn't pop on the peg properly. You're probably going to have to tack it on there. The blues don't match up properly either, to be honest. But it is definitely the best Nebula head sculpt, and putting it on this previous body just confirms that to me. Technically, here we have another MCU version of Nebula, which I nearly forgot about, as it's the What If Nebula here with the What If version of T'Challa Star-Lord, who are in the same episode, of course. This is the Nebula I have dubbed the Nebula that went to the salon, as she has that nice blonde hair. And a few people have been using this in their collection as like a standing comic Nebula. So just for the sake of it, I'm going to try swapping the heads. And you know what? The neck's a little long, but it definitely pops on there. And the skin tone, the blue tone, sort of matches. Not quite, but nearly. So if you wanted a stand-in comic Nebula, I guess this is probably as close as you're going to get for the time being, at least. But Hasbro, please, comic Nebula. Thank you. Here we have Nebula compared to Mantis, the other female Guardian in this matching uniform. And of course, these are on the same base body. That's why they're about the same height. It's just Mantis's hair and antennas make her seem that little bit taller. Same body. Obviously, Nebula has the metal arm. Mantis does not. But they are both double jointed and pinless, which is more than the fellas, as I've already said. So these two get bonus points for that. But yeah, they look really nice. And here we have those three fellas with Star-Lord, Drax, and Rocket. And you know what? I'm going to say it. This wave has some of the best MCU Guardian head sculpts in Marvel Legends. Now, I know these matching outfits may put some people off, as it's not your mind's eye. It's not their iconic looks to represent their individuality throughout the MCU. But honestly, these figures, when you put the whole team together, are just going to pop on a display for sure, looking great. And let's not forget about these two members of the Guardians as well, as we have the Volume 3 Swole Groot. Go and check out my review for him, great figure. And then since we don't have a Volume 3 Gamora yet, here we have the Volume 2 Gamora, of course, the sister of Nebula. And haha, I knew I'd seen that gun before. Gamora from Volume 2 has the same gun that comes with Volume 3 Nebula, but this one hasn't got as much paint detail, unfortunately, so Gamora's is better. For a couple of comic comparisons, here we have two of the original Guardians with Vance Astro and Yondu. And then here we have some of the Who crew with Frogman, Tigra and White Rabbit. And then last but never least, here we have Captain Britain and Hal, Fire, Hank. Final thoughts on this Marvel Legends Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 Cosmo Build-A-Figure Wave. Nebula. What can I say? I like the figure. It is a completely pinless, double jointed knees and elbow female Marvel Legend with probably the best likeness to the character in Marvel Legends form, as yes, Nebula is a blue alien with mechanical parts, but when you get the head sculpt in hand, you'll see what I mean. The sculpt is there. It's very, very nice, especially in comparison to the other figures. And let's be honest, Nebula's had a big role to play within the MCU from Volume 1 of Guardians all the way to Endgame, so she is worthy of her action figures, and I like how this this one comes with some accessories, which is more to say than some of the other figures in this wave. Yes, the guns are just repaints, so they're not even painted to be fair, they're just reissues, flat grey, but at least she has that nice sword attachment, and again, gives her that unique element over the other Nebulas we already have. So you know me, I always try and look for the positive here, and this is a very solid representation of Nebula. And of course we need her in the matching uniforms to go with the rest of the team. We've already seen the trailers, we know she's in there, so it just makes me excited to see the movie. So as always, you can love it, you can hate it, you can let me know what you think in the comments below. But if you like Marvel Legends, then one thing is for sure, you're in the right place. Check out the videos tab, find the playlists, but most importantly, please, hit that subscribe button, hit all on the notification bell, don't miss out on a video, and please hit that join button, become a channel member, either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. You can follow me on Instagram at itsdanwho. Or don't be shy, tweet me at danwhoreviews. As always, people, my name is Dan W, and I will of course see you on the next one.